then they're gonna. Yeah, so I gotta.
That's all we need is something getting Zoom bombed.
You're a Zoom bomb.
Yeah, exactly. We are getting a lot of engagement with the videos. I kind of dig it.
Yeah, I'm kind of. Hi, Randy.
Hello.
I'm kind of convert. What are you going to turn the lights on for crying out loud?
Exactly. How are you like serial creeper killer look at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, for the love of Christ?
Oh, switch is off. That's why the light's off. You're like, my remote's not working.
Love technology. He needs his iPod or his iPad to turn on his lights.
Oh, the things we do.
No, it's just a remote. They can be colors.
Only if the song's playing in the background.
I am a nightmare walking.
Psychopath talking. King of the jungle. $503, we getting the show on the road?
Yeah, I just shared the video directly into the PenguinCon group just to be safe. What do we got? Yeah, says we got 14 people watching. God help us. You want to give it till 5? Give it one more minute. 5:05. Our assumption is we're just going to blow through this and not really do a whole lot, but. Hey, your buddy Greg Walters liked the video, Bob.
Whee!
All right, let me go back into the Zoom view so I'm not on the time delay. That just screwed me up.
You sharing the prezo?
Yep. Share screen. No, not you. I want you. Boop. Boop. Yep.
Awesome. Let's do this.
All right.
Thanks for hanging out, everybody. This is the 10 commandments of job search. If you're familiar with IT and the D, I'm Bob.
Hey, I guess let's take a step back before that. Hey, everybody, welcome to our first virtual PenguinCon session. We are as sad, if not sadder, than you are. That PenguinCon is not happening this year. God knows we were looking forward to the room parties among the presentations, everything else that we do. But yeah, we're happy that at least PenguinCon is carrying on in some fashion, and so here we are.
So this is the 10 Commandments of Job Search. We've been doing this presentation on and off for a little over 13 years now.
Yeah.
This is basically we'll talk about a minute of I guess who we are and who we're not. But
we have that in here.
Yeah, I know. But just to preface real quick, not only must you unlearn what you have learned, this is pre and post COVID. So we didn't really tailor any content for what's going on now today.
No, but but the nice part is we did get some really good feedback on Monday's episode from the JVS Human Services folks. And so we can tailor that, we can bring some of that into here. And then if you're interested, feel free and either go back and watch the video that's on the IT and the D Facebook page, or catch the podcast because it's out there.
Yep. And if you got any, and if anybody has any questions on the Podcast Detroit Facebook page, feel free to type them in. We'll get to them as we go. We'll try to do our best to read comments and to address them as things are going.
Yeah, actually, Randy, if you can do me a favor and kind of keep an eye on that stuff while I'm running the prezzo.
Watching it.
Cool. Thanks, man. All right. So yeah, who are we?
Oh my God, Detroit! Now you didn't edit that.
No,
So
this is who we are. And then
yeah, no, this is the original founding of our group was 2001. The point of the group was the anti-group. We were going to chamber events, and we were going to BNI groups, and we were going to LBNs, and we were going to any networking event we could get our hands on, and they all sucked.
and God, did we hate them.
And we started our own. We basically started our own. And it's kind of funny because like everyone says, "Oh, thanks for organizing, thanks for organizing," and it's kind of like when my high school reunion. Oh my God, thanks for organizing. And at the end of the day, I'm like, I just called the bar and said we're showing up. So our
Right.
our little group that we just told the bar we're showing up. I think we're at 7,000 members now on LinkedIn.
Yeah. Some of these numbers have changed. We're up around 3,000 unique visitors. I mean, it's nuts. We're way over this from a podcast listener perspective.
Right. And we're about 3,000 jobs
our last
now.
count was about 3,000 jobs fulfilled. But I mean, the important part hasn't changed. We're still 100% grassroots. We don't take, and this is the part that like kind of takes people back, is we don't take kickbacks from the bars that we hold our events in. Bob and I still pay our own bar tabs.
People still don't believe us.
Yeah, we don't really get anything out of this other than the connections that we make, which is the whole point. But yeah, you're not going to come and see, we don't do guest speakers. That was always, I mean, this whole thing kind of kicked back up because Bob and I would be in the back row of, I don't want to call them out, but other networking groups out there would be sitting in the back row listening to some talking head who didn't know a damn thing that they were talking about and looking at each other going, there's got to be a better way to do this. So off we went.
We can name them. Can we at this point? No.
I mean, we could, but
yeah.
I mean, one of them is now one of our clients, so we shouldn't.
Right. I guess here's the thing. At the end of the day, this isn't like an intro to sell you something afterwards. This is basically we're taking all of our life's knowledge and everything we've learned and tips and tricks and things that the people have told us, things that work, things that don't, and we've kind of put this all into one little page. And here's another thing: there's going to be rarely any corporate speak. We do not sugarcoat the truth. We will not tell you something just to make you feel good. We will be blatantly honest. And that's what we've always done, and I don't know how else I could change.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if anything else, we get accused of being a little bit too blunt.
I would take that all day long over saying pivot every third word.
Right, exactly, and we're gonna change paradigms for you.
New.
So, hey, I mean, I guess this is, we phrase this in the context of 10 commandments, and this is, I mean, commandment number one is thou shalt understand priorities. When you don't have a job, you do have a job, and it's finding a job. And that's the most important thing you have to understand. So, it's not, you're not laying on Netflix, you're laying in bed binging Tiger King. You're not, and don't get me wrong, there's like, you can do that for a day or two if you need to. Like, we all need to internalize and decompress and work our way through things. But it honestly, it's like, I guess this kind of gets back to dealing with the COVID world. Try to find some sense of normalcy and routine in your life. Get up off the couch, get up every morning, take a shower, wear decent clothes. Get yourself into a headspace that actually has you. Hey, I'm here to do something with a purpose.
Even if that becomes like, and my thing was, it's always the movie Over the Top with Sylvester Stallone when you turn the cap backwards and
you've been obsessed with that lately. What's the deal?
I don't know. It's just that's the mentality I'm in lately. Well, because here's the thing: because you're stuck at home, we're working from home or doing this from home. You have to get in that shift. So I always like say, when things get back to normal, go to a Panera, go to a Starbucks, right? Get into that mentality. Wear decent clothes. Get a cup of coffee. Read the paper. Read on on your tablet or whatever.
Right.
Like just get into that mentality, because if you get on the couch now and you're putting on The View, you're putting on morning news, and all of a sudden, and you kind of get more comfy in the couch, and there's got to be that time where you switch into go mode.
Yeah, for sure. And this is the biggest thing. I mean, it is. I mean, and again, this, the world's a little bit different now. But if you're just sitting around submitting resumes online all day, you're, oh my God, do not do that. I mean, blind resume submission should be a last resort. And we'll talk about this a little bit later as well. LinkedIn is still a phenomenal resource. I mean, you should be, out there researching who works at companies you want to work with, or looking to to chat with your connections about what openings are out there. that's the part that, and we have the 10 commandments of networking somewhere in here as well. That, your network is your lifeblood. I mean, that's just reality 101. I mean, that is what will help you find a job above and beyond anything else, which is kind of why we've always done what we've done.
Well, especially too with LinkedIn, when you're seeing a job opening, and let's say it's with ABC Corp, click on ABC Corp and click people. And lo and behold, if you have people in your network that reach out to them and saying, hey, there's a blah, blah, blah position by you. What's the scoop? Who's the hiring manager?
Yeah, what do you know? Yep.
Yeah.
What do you know?
Are you
who
good
do you know?
in with who? He goes, oh man, I'll put, most of those people, they get paid like $500 to $1,000 for referring you in. They want to refer you in. Use that network.
Well, and the flip side of that is you can also avoid bad situations that way. It's like, I know the boss over that group. You do not want to be in there.
Right. Find out what's going on. The skinny. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But yeah, LinkedIn should be your go-to for all of this stuff.
You love this one, Bob.
I do. No, because I'm dealing with it now because, Dave, you're all happy that I'm finally interviewing people, because my entire career, I never managed or interviewed people. And now I'm dealing with it.
I'm so in my happy place about your responsibility shift.
let me give you an example of what I see. We're interviewing cloud engineers right now and cloud architects, right? That's a big hot spot. We need like 4 or 5 of them. And we're interviewing 2 to 3 people a day. And here's what I'm seeing. Their title all of a sudden on the resume becomes cloud architect or cloud engineer.
Or senior cloud engineer.
Or senior. And then when we get down to what they've been doing, they're either a generalist IT manager, or they're a systems admin, or they're a storage something or other. And they've dabbled a little bit in Azure. But you made your title of your resume cloud engineer to match the requisition opening. And now the recruiter looks at you and says, cool, cloud engineer, passes you on to the team. So now I have 5 people from my team interviewing you, and then we know within 30 seconds.
And within the first 2 minutes, everybody already knows they're wasting their time.
Yeah, and then we have to go through a half an hour of formalities and say thank you. But, so here's the thing. Understand who you are and what you are. It's okay that you're an IT generalist, or, because here's the one thing that we're going to ask is, what are you passionate about? Give me a technology that you wake up in the morning going, I want to work on this.
Yep.
And if you don't answer the technology that you're getting interviewed for, you're going to get passed.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. If you're like, I love Cisco. Well, maybe you're not going to be a cloud engineer because that doesn't work that way. So
right. But by the way, we do happen to have 3 other openings in this other spot that, okay, if that's what you're really looking for, cool.
Right. And so like my whole take is on this whole thing is, I'm a server admin. Okay, cool. Like, what do you do? Like, we have to ask sometimes people get caught up in this thing where they want to be everything to everyone. And at the end of the day, you can't be, because you're going to get found out. Someone's going to ask that 4th question and go, oh yeah, you're not, so don't be afraid to be targeted and say, the last 5 years I've been doing, I'm a pure storage array, engineer. Cool. We just figured all that out with it. You didn't have to ask 8 questions.
Right. Well, and the whole, don't complain about anything. No, really, like the last thing you want to do in an interview, and everybody does. Everybody asks the question, why did you leave, or why are you looking to leave your either current or past job? Mm-hmm. That is, you are not on a psychiatrist's couch. You are not Tony Soprano. This is not the time to start venting about what a jerk your last boss was, or what unethical things you were asked to do, or any of that kind of stuff.
I've been told everything from, oh, I just saw you on the billboard. I wasn't really looking, but the recruiter called. Then, if you're just taking an interview, like, you're going to get found out again. Or if you just saw me on the bill, like, know something about the company. It's not hard to dig on LinkedIn, or, hey, I saw this news article with your piece, and I saw about your growth of your company and all this cool technology you guys are implementing. I really want to be a part of something in a growth environment.
You're 2 slides ahead.
All right, sorry.
But no, and we do talk about that. I mean, there is one of the don't be that guy entries on our site, the MBA candidate, the married but available, because there are people out there that they have no intention of leaving the job that they're at, but they want to go out and flirt. And so, because
I could have.
I mean,
could have.
yeah, I mean, who doesn't want to feel like the pretty pony princess? I mean, that's
Yeah.
that's just life. Don't be that person. So, yeah, hey, be prepared, for the love of God. I mean, treat every day like an interview, whether you actually have an interview or not. This is one of those things where, we try to hammer this into people's heads over and over and over again. Whether it is, Vistaprint, I mean, you can get a bunch made for free. You can get, ones without their logo for as little as $10, but have some business cards on you at all times. And for the love, keep it simple. Put it, it's your name, it's what you're into. Like, hey, I'm a database administrator. Hey, I'm a help desk guy. Hey, I'm whatever it is that you actually are, have that somewhere on you, and make sure that you have a decent email address. The story I always tell is, there was somebody who I ran into at one of our events who was actually applying who apparently had applied at the company that I worked for, and got cranky with me because she said she never got a call back. And I was like, okay, well, what? I'll look into it. How do I get a hold of you? Yada yada. And she hands me. She's like, oh, she shoots me a connection request, and her email address was like crazy bitch 96 or something or other. And I'm like, okay, well, you probably got caught by a firewall rule or something like that, and nobody ever saw your email, and that's literally what happened. So just be you somewhere, and keep it simple.
And here's the thing: if you've had an AOL address for 22 years and you're stuck with it, cool. Get a Gmail address with your first name dot last name, or middle initial dot last name.
Right.
Just use that for your job, for your resume thing, because again, you're getting scanned quickly. They're looking at keywords. If they see Hotmail, AOL, something other than,
assumptions get made. Some people look at that and go, oh, you're okay, you're still on AOL, you are not up to date with current technologies. Whereas for you, in your mind, it's a matter, dude, I just got rid of my Concentric email address not too long ago, because it was just one of those things that I'd always had, and it was almost like a whoopee.
I want to see if Walton Beer at AOL still works.
Hey, I'm just saying. But no, I mean, it's, just because again, I mean, and I think we talk about this later in this one. There's nothing against almost creating an entirely different persona for the online job search, which is, use an email address that is not attached to your social media profiles. Use an email address that is not attached to anything, other than your entire job search presentation. And be prepared. No, that doesn't mean bring resumes around with you, because just for the love of God, don't be that guy. Hey Jim, nice to meet you for coffee. Have you seen my resume? No, get out of here with that nonsense. The dress appropriately wherever you go. I actually literally saw this happen one time when I was in the parking lot of my kid's school. And in case you have any doubt, hell is an elementary school parking lot. But
the first week of school.
No. Every day is hell in an elementary school parking lot. And I watched someone go through a supremely awkward conversation where it was a guy talking to a lady, and she said something about, hey, I heard you were looking for a gig. I think, like, do I remember right? And it was, do you do this? Yeah, I do that. Hey, cool. I think my husband's company is looking for, this, that, and the other thing. How does he get in touch with you? And then he just stammered. And he was like, yeah, I don't have any cards on me. No, I don't have, I don't have this. I don't have that. Do you have a pen? No, I don't have a pen. You got a piece of paper? No, I don't have a piece of paper. Do you have this? Do you have missed opportunity, lost, and you're hoping that you run into that person again in the future at some point in time, or that somebody remembers to pass on the right information, which feeds into this last point.
I guess here's the thing, just to add to that, with the whole dress appropriately thing. I mean, this is IT. You can get away with wearing a Motley Crue T-shirt and some Vans, or a hockey jersey or whatever, but just don't do anything that's
Are you proud of me, Bob? It's PenguinCon. You're not wearing a sport coat. I'm wearing a hockey jersey. What's wrong?
I haven't worn a sport coat.
I feel like you let me down.
I haven't worn a sport coat since
I'm not going to lie and say that this is just for you. I've been in hockey jerseys since this shit started.
No, but like, you don't want like offensive, or like we've had people come into our networking events with like leather skirts and fishnet stockings. We've had guys coming in with 10-gallon hats. Like, you don't want anything like where that becomes your brand, where you become 10-gallon hat guy. Like
Yeah,
they don't even know your
exactly.
name.
Yeah, you're
Like,
not.
just,
This isn't like. Oh God, who was that idiot in Ann Arbor that did the dating classes, with all about the peacocking and the negging and all that shit?
who?
Dude, there was whatever the pickup artist, I think, was his name,
Oh,
or the whatever. We talked about him on a show it's not too long ago. But yeah, no, that you're not there to peacock. You're not there to like wear something super flamboyant to be memorable. You just be normal, for the love of God.
well, I mean, that's fine if I'm sport coat and jeans guy. I can live
Yeah,
with that. You're fine if you're a hockey jersey guy. Like I can live with that. Just don't be
absolutely.
something. Just don't be something like stupid. I guess the point. I guess you might not even know if you are, but
Right. Well, and here's the thing. I mean, and this comes down to being prepared. I mean, and this is something we talked with the JVS guy on Monday night, or was hey, a lot of the world right now relies on video interviews.
yeah.
And so take a look at your environment. I mean, like, okay, maybe my bar is not the best background to be having, during a video interview.
Dave, I just had an interview where it was this. Like literally, I was like, I'm practically dizzy because he had his phone on him,
Oh my God.
and it was like this for the entire interview.
Was he
And the guy
jogging? Was he on a treadmill?
no, he was holding his mobile, and it was like, sit still. Like that's, I just wanted to yell at him, like, quit moving.
Would you just quit moving? But no, I
I
mean,
really like you. Quit moving.
yeah, like one of the stories we talked about Monday night was, I mean, there was a guy who, and it was a fairly senior level position, where about 30 seconds into the interview, they just went, "Hey, look, we'd love to continue this conversation. Could you go somewhere where your porn collection isn't on display in the background?"
Is that you, Dave?
No, my bar is on display in my background. I'm totally. I mean, some people might consider this porn.
Yeah. So there's a lot of. I'm going to throw this out there right now. There's a lot of people
I'm gonna
praying.
let you handle this while I grab more ice.
That's fine. There's a lot of people that are preying on people that are in desperate situations looking for a job. When you are looking for a job, you are looking, it's almost like being rejected when you're like, we always talk about business and relationships are one in 1A. When you're looking for a job, it's almost like a relationship. You're looking like, oh my God, am I too fat? Do I need to shave my beard? Is my haircut stupid? Are these jeans, do they not fit? You think of the same thing when you're in job search. Is my resume bad? Did I write something wrong? And there's people that will prey on you and charge you $200, $300, $400, $500 to kind of rewrite your brand.
And that's pray EY, not AY. You don't
Yes.
you don't need anybody getting religious on you.
No. But the now that I can't totally lost my train of thought. Sorry. But the whole point of this is you want your resume to be in the words that you use on a normal basis. Because here's the thing. If I'm reading your resume, Dave's reading your resume, and we ask you about something, and you go, huh? Wait, where? And you go, oh, that. It's a really poor reflection. Like that is something like it needs to be, and you need to write this thing. It needs to be, you can have me look at it. Like your friend should be able to look at it, correct your English.
Yes.
None of us are perfect with grammar and all that.
Or hey, didn't you tell me you did this at that gig?
Yeah.
That kind of stuff.
One of the things that I'm huge on, don't tell me what you did. Tell me the impact you had on the business.
Yes.
Right. When I was in sales, I was 103% of quota. Now that I'm a data center manager, I had 5 nines of uptime. Right. My team did 100% of X. You know what I mean? Like, I want to know the impact you had on the business, or the program that you implemented, or that code that you wrote that was put into this that did that.
Yep.
That's what I care about.
No, for sure. And and one of the things we always tell people is, and we actually kind of touched on this lightly, where it can develop into a bad thing. We always tell people you should always have a very raw version of your resume, which is almost like a brain dump. And like the raw version of my resume is about 15 pages long. But that is not a resume that I ever send anyone. So that that is just literally everything, like every bullet point of everything that I've ever done at any gig ever. But when you are actually sending a resume in for a gig, no more than 2, maybe 3 pages at the absolute most, but it should be picking and choosing from all of that, tailoring it to the job that you're actually applying for, and making sure that it matches up with the description that they're looking for, to the extent that it's actually honest. Because again, you shouldn't be saying, hey, I'm a senior cloud architect or I'm a senior cloud engineer, when you don't actually have that experience reflected on your resume.
No doubt. So James Odell had a quick question. If his name's not available in Gmail, what do you suggest for an alternative? Whatever your middle name. So like James dot whatever your middle name is, like the initial dot Odell would be fine.
Yeah, because
Or
Gmail does support 2 dots.
It does. So James, you could do James dot O dot Dell. Whatever your, I guess.
I mean, you can even be obvious about it, where it's, James Odell job search at gmail.com, or, James Odell resumes at gmail.com.
Don't do what year you were born or 1984.
Right. Yeah. Stop giving away personally identifiable information.
Right. Yeah. Try it with your middle name, even if it's 1 dot, or like, here's the thing like at Cisco, when I was there, they used the first 8 letters of your name. And it stopped wherever it stopped. So maybe, toy around with that, just variations, but try to keep it your name, or do a dot middle name dot, which is perfectly acceptable.
Right.
And then for the resume, summary at the top is perfectly acceptable. I do like a skills thing with 9 or 12 bullet points underneath that, and then it's chronological by job.
A skills summary. Yep.
Yeah. Objective line, if you have one, please do us a favor and kill it. Your objective is to find a job, and we all know that. No need to grow in an organization to better my skills.
Looking to find an organization to enable my career. God,
no, kill it
with fire. So this is a big thing that a lot of people miss. Like, everybody was worried about the dreaded resume gap. And even if you have some downtime that you're dealing with, there's no reason why you can't use that time for good. And not only good for you, but also good for other people. So, I mean, at the end of the day, volunteer your ass off. I mean, at this point in time in 2020, companies are not just looking for skills. They're looking for people they can brag about. They're looking for people they can point at.
Well, you look at, Dave, I was brought in as a quote unquote culture hire. So it's not always technically how good you are. You know what I'm saying?
Like, yeah, you got lucky on that one.
Shut up.
No, but it's true. I mean, hey, we all have, whether it's, charities or organizations or that kind of stuff that you have a passion for and you're involved with. See if they need help redoing their website. See if they need help, streamlining some processes, whatever it is that you can do to keep your skills fresh and keep yourself going and keep yourself out there and moving. Do it. I mean, because, not only does it help, not only does it do good by helping them, it helps you keep your skills honed, and it keeps you doing things, and it shows that you're involved with the community and doing things.
Yeah, I watched all 3 seasons of Ozark last week. Isn't a good answer when they ask what you've been doing with your time.
Right.
I
can tell you all about that bitch Carol Baskin.
It doesn't even have to be technical. Like if you worked at a food bank, you know what I mean? Like something, like get involved with your local community. There's absolutely nothing wrong with talking about that with those gaps.
Or, it could be as simple as, hey, one of the things I did is I rewired and rerouted my entire home network. And I segmented my gaming systems off on this so that it's not interfering with my laptop when I'm doing that kind of stuff.
So we ask that, like, what's your home network look like? That's a very common question with techies. And if I hear like, I got nothing, we're like, we kind of look at you twice. And, we've interviewed some people that like have like a lab and a racks in the basement and running Raspberry Pi this, and,
right.
Like, okay. One of us talk to me. You know what I mean? Like, we want to know that like you live, breathe technology. So like, let us know.
Yeah.
Guys, this is dated, isn't it? Maybe it's not.
Well, I mean, it is and it isn't. I mean, the core message here is, so understand that at the end of the day, you're being Googled the minute and this gets back to something I was talking about earlier. It's okay to have an email address and a persona that is strictly for your job search, that is not attached to your Facebook profile, that is not attached to, whatever else that's out there. Just because, I mean, you are. I mean, recruiters will Google you, find you on Facebook, look at your posts. I mean, we know multiple people that have lost jobs because of they've lost job opportunities because of social media postings and that kind of stuff. I mean, there was a guy that I know, and this is the one that I always go to, is he was applying for a fairly senior position within a political candidate's office that happened to be Democratic, and they looked at his Facebook profile, and he had so many public posts that were ranting about F Pelosi this and F this person that. They flat out told him that's why he didn't get the job.
I mean, it's one thing to crack a joke about making a Clorox martini. It's another thing. It's another thing to have.
I marked myself safe from Trump's medical advice today. I'm just saying.
Yeah. It's another thing to have to be hateful and have vitriol and anger. Nobody wants that, and they're poisoning their culture. So I mean, leave. If when in doubt, just leave the political crap off social media.
For sure.
But go back real quick. One of the things I want to make sure is that the social media. Sorry, is that social media should be delineated. We always talk about people that use Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn, and everything has the exact same post, just blast it across because they want to get their whatever point across to the most amount of people. Listen, at the end of the day, if you're using Facebook still, just treat it as your personal stuff, your friends from high school and your buddies, and treat LinkedIn as work. There's absolutely zero reason to post what you eat on LinkedIn.
Dude, well, not only that, but I have a very strict rule that I do not Facebook friend people I work with.
I mean, that's the thing. It varies because that's becoming a thing more and more now. Where all of a sudden
I don't.
No,
and I'm very straight up about it. Dude, yeah, you're a great person and that's awesome, but nope.
Yeah. So if that's the case, though, make sure you find out what your work rules are, because some places frown on you posting on Facebook during work hours. Some places frown.
Oh, for sure.
On being really alienating and pointed, because your brand extends past 9 to 5.
Well,
right?
Yeah, because I mean, whether you want to acknowledge it or not, whether you want to realize it or not, and whether you want to admit it or not, you are who you are as a sum total. So if you have, hey, I work at such and such company on your Facebook profile, and you go off on a rant somewhere, dude, we live in a cancel culture world, and somebody doesn't like that rant, they're going to look at your Facebook profile, see where you work, and screen capture and send your shit to HR.
Yep. Screen caps are a thing. Screen caps, the stuff that I'm seeing lately and stuff, make sure whatever you're typing or whatever you're you don't want that being sent out. There's really nothing much is private anymore these days.
Nope.
Be as professional as humanly possible. Dave and I joke all the time. Here's what I'm drinking. I'm doing a headstand at Oktoberfest, and blah, 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 blah.
Well, I mean, not this year, you're not.
No, it's closed. But for the most part, make sure that you own what you are, as long as it doesn't hinder your ability to have gainful employment or to get employment.
So, and this is what I was talking about earlier. You were about 2 slides.
Yeah. No, and that's and that's the thing. It's so easy now to Google something or to Google a company, go on their LinkedIn page and find out what they're sharing, and then to read it, digest it, and regurgitate it back that you didn't, hey, I saw this on the news and I've been reading about that, and I know that you're doing this, and I talked to so-and-so who works there, and this is a really cool project you guys are working on that I want to be a part of, right? There's a lot of things you can do when you're in an interview or when you're in the initial phases to totally differentiate yourself. And this is, I talk about the eyes, right? What did I call it the other day? The Johnny Cash eyes. Maybe I gotta be more professional. But if you're not talking to me and you're saying, hey, I heard about this project you guys are doing, and you're doing this, and you're revolutionizing that, and I love how it integrates with this, and you're all pumped up about it, I'd kill to be a part of it. It's totally in my wheelhouse. You're going to get to the front of the line very quickly. If you're well, I like doing the templates in Azure, and so I like cloud. Cloud's where everything's moving to, so cloud good. Like,
Cloud seems to be where I want to be.
yeah, because that's where you got. There's things you're going to be passionate about. Make sure that shines. And when you're talking to the companies, make sure like, other than it's a really good company. I saw it online. No, you can
No, like
you can be better than that.
at least have one or two specifics that you can drop. I mean, even if they're even if they're the top Google search results, just at least have one or two you can bring up in conversation so that you at least made an effort. And here's a big one, and this like honestly almost gets back to be prepared. Dude, have a notebook, have a pen, like, because if you're not taking any notes at all during an interview, odds are good there's an issue, and I'm going to question you and call you out on it.
Dave, I just went through like a round robin interview. There was like 15 people vying for like 5 spots, and there was things like, hey, watch this TED talk and tell me how you would deconstruct this math problem, right? And there was like, do this puzzle.
Yep.
We just want to see how you would act in pressure with a timer, or like how you would formulate solving a problem.
Well, because that's the thing. It's not even that you get to the answer; it's how you would get there.
Right. Out of the 15, I want to say 6 or 7 had pens. Some people were like, how many, like, I'll fill this room up with balloons. Go ask questions.
Right.
And they would ask like 3 questions. Go, I'm good. Like things of that nature.
No,
like with
you're not.
The pen, the notebook. Yeah, like it's non-negotiable that you should have a pen, a notebook, 2 pens in case one craps the bed.
Always.
Right? A small notebook, like just that's got to be a thing. Like that's non-negotiable. Like if you sit in an interview or any situation where you're being interviewed, or just even at a job fair or whatever, and if you don't have that stuff, you're almost automatically disqualified.
For sure. Well, and the whole like bring 5 copies of your resume. If you have the knowledge of how many people are going to be in the room with you before you get there, bring that many copies plus 2.
Yeah, absolutely.
Here's why. I mean, it's even if you're, as much as we love recruiters and we love like recruiting firms and all that kind of stuff, you never know if somebody has tweaked your resume. You never know if somebody has rewritten something on your behalf, trying to make it look better. And so bringing copies of your resume with you, A, shows that you're prepared, and B, shows that you were paying attention to how many people are going to be in the room. But then C also says, hey, here's my resume. This is the foundation that I want you to ask questions about. Let's go from there.
Yep. And I mean, to wear a suit, period. I think, listen, in IT, we wear hoodies and jeans all day.
That's t-shirt, sport coat. Yeah.
T-shirt and sport coat. Like wear your suit, and you don't have to wear a tie, and you can wear a t-shirt. Like it's relaxed a little bit, where but wear a suit or something like your Sunday's best, I guess, is what if you don't have it, or like a really nice pair, like your best pair of jeans, and just try to be as professional as you possibly can. Like the hoodie and jeans, you might wear that on Monday, your first day at work, but at the interview, just make sure you're one up.
And it's there's nothing wrong with being the best dressed person in the room. Like that's, that's always like it honestly, to me, dude, I can't tell you how long it's been since I've worn a tie, like for anything job related.
I don't think I could not button.
Yeah, well, no. But I mean, there's nothing wrong with, dude, there's something to be said for feeling you don't necessarily want to feel fully comfortable during a job interview. You want to feel like that you're in that job search persona, that, hey, this is the best version of me that I am putting out there. Because again, it gets back to that, would you wear your scrubs, your scrubby clothes on a first date with someone that you're trying to impress?
No, not at all. And then James also asked, does the resume fancy paper matter anymore?
Nope.
I don't think it ever did. Yeah. No, it's standard.
I mean, for a minute there was, the whole like parchment paper, when you were like emailing. I mean, that was the thing for like a minute and a half. But in today's world, no.
I think if you're like a UI designer, like graphics, and like you want to set yourself apart as like a creative, maybe. But like as an engineer or like an IT person, absolutely not.
No.
None of that stuff's going to survive the recruiter anyway. They're going to try and add stuff, and it's going to get corrupted and
and they're going to print it out on their own paper anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like we have to. Can we update this photo? Can I?
Yeah, nobody knows what that is anymore.
Nobody knows who Germ Trestle is anymore.
So listen, I finally got a story to trump Dave's famous story. So we're going to tell 2 stories about this.
Oh, that's right. We've had this conversation. Yep, you actually do have a good one.
So literally, like, this is a very, very, very small world, and Dave and I both have a very good story about lying in this business. So we ended up hiring someone in my department who had an impeccable resume, like literally one of the top resumes, and spoke every buzzword and was a part of every project with very big companies. And we brought him in as one of the basically the top you can be in the group, which is, we called it Engineer 3. All of a sudden, things started getting out where, like, he didn't know what he was doing, and like he wasn't what he said he was. And it was about 3 months in, and then we get a phone call.
That's the worst.
It took we kept having meetings like, I don't think he's going to cut it. I'm like, what do you mean he's not cutting it? Look where he came from and what he did. No. So here's the best. I want to make a long story short. We get a phone call, and one of our engineer 2s, his wife works at another company, happened to be the hiring manager and interviewed this guy 3 months into his job with us. And he told everyone that he stood up the Azure stack, stood up Puppet, and stood up VRA, right? If you don't know the acronyms, don't worry about it. It's no big deal. The best part about it is the wife that was interviewing him, her husband is the one that did 2 of those 3 at our shop. And this guy didn't touch Puppet or VRA at all, wasn't even involved in it. Her husband did. So all of a sudden we get a phone call going, you'll never guess who I interviewed. You'll never guess what he put on his resume that he did, right? He literally got walked out the next day, because then we found out that's what he taught when he interviewed with us. He put his name on all this garbage that he never did, and then it works for 3 to 6 months, but you're going to get found out real quick. You can't BS your way around that.
Well, or it doesn't even get you through the interview process. In my case, where so I was working for a company, and I had one of our recruiters call me, and he was like, "Dude," he's like, "you've got to come up here and look at this resume." And I'm like, "Well, why?" And because they would just forward them to me, and he's like, you're running this project, and he's like, whatever, here's a resume. And I'm like, he's like, "No, I need to see your face when you see this resume." And I'm like, "Okay." So I go walking upstairs, and I walk in his office, and he shows me this resume, and the very first thing underneath the summary and the skills is the project that I am both the systems architect and the project manager for, and I have no idea who this guy is. And so, long story short, because I won't take up all the time with it, it turns out this guy met, because we called him and we called him on the phone and laughed about it. But it boiled down to this guy met one of my tech leads in a bar, and like heard about our project and heard about what we were doing and thought it sounded really cool, and then was dumb enough to put it on his resume and send it in to the company that actually was running that project. And yeah, last I heard, he was out of the IT industry and selling real estate in Kentucky. Bob, you're muted.
So sorry, I just said wah wah.
Yeah, exactly. Wah 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 wah. Dude, and I've been hit. I've been hit on Messenger. I've been hit on email. I've been hit on a bunch of different platforms. Hey, this person was at the same company you were at when you were there, and they said they did this, this, and this. No, they didn't. No, I know that person. They were a dumbass.
I think we all have stories too. Like I have, like on LinkedIn, so-and-so worked at so-and-so company with you then. Like, I'm like, no, he didn't.
Not that I'm aware of. Yeah.
I knew everyone and he wasn't there. So just, it's a small industry. It's a small town. Just make sure that you're on the up and up. Even if it's not the best answer in the world, it's better than a lie.
Dude, I do. I honestly, I feel like we should do one of these presentations on the dating corollary at some point, because
it's the same.
Yeah, jobs really are like relationships. I mean, it's a deal. I don't care. I don't care where you are, we live in a free agent world, and that's the reality of the situation. So you should never stop doing everything that you just did to find a job. Pay attention to LinkedIn at least 10 to 15 minutes a day. Be friends with all the recruiters. That's one of the things we talked about right off the top is, what do we get out of this? What one of the things we get out of this is, there are, I don't know, out of that, 8,000 people in our LinkedIn group, there are 500 that are recruiters. There are 100 that have showed up at our events. There are 30 that we've become we've become friends with. There are 4 or 5 that we've become close friends with. There are 2 to 3 that have said, hey, if you need a job, call me tomorrow. That's what it comes down to.
Well, the thing that infuriates me is, hey, we haven't seen you in a year. Where have you been?
What do you mean?
I got a job.
What do you need?
Yeah. No, I got a job. Like, that doesn't mean you stop networking just because you got a job. That should be a never ending. Networking should be, even if it's internally at your company, externally, doesn't matter. Don't ever stop building your network. It's your lifeblood. And here's the thing. You could get laid off for any time, for any reason. Like, we've all been part of layoffs. We've all been, and they're like, wait, what? Like, I was like, my last 10 reviews were amazing. My numbers were through the roof. Like, I've got to cut you. Like, it just,
sorry, man. Your number came up. Yeah.
Yeah. Loyalties, I don't want to say it's at an all-time low. Like, there's some companies that are good, but for the most part, you got to treat yourself like a free agent. Like, you're the only one that can look out for yourself. Just continue to do that.
Well, and that's, keep your resume up to date at all times. I mean, that's a big thing. You don't want to, be at some place, 2 or 3 or 5 years and then figure out, oh crap, I just got laid off. I can go back to that raw resume that I haven't touched in forever and and spend a day or two updating it with everything that I just, everything that I've done. That's a huge issue.
Yeah, every time you complete a major project at work, go back the next day and write about it for your resume notes.
Especially if you quantified something. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
Great call.
This is always your big one, Bob.
Yeah, no, it's true though. Like, the follow-up thing, and it's not just once, and it's not every day, and it's not every half an hour. Like, treat it like a relationship. It's not Mikey in the movie Swingers where he leaves 16 voicemails in her box by 3 a.m. Like, you can't, like, definitely send a thank you note. I put the next day, but do it the same day. Like, if you get home, like, sit down, like, send a thank you note. Appreciate it. I'm really excited about this opportunity. What's your thoughts on this LinkedIn request? I'm in on that. Some people aren't. Like, if you just interviewed with someone, shoot them a note on LinkedIn.
I'm okay with that. I mean, that's, because like I said, I mean, LinkedIn is almost your virtual office. And it's one of those things where even if you don't wind up working there, that still might be a professional connection that you want in the future.
So here's something I always did, and I don't know if it'll matter. Like, depends on what if you're a software dev, like, forward on your Git repository. Like, when I was in sales, I put together a 30, 60, 90 plan and a relationship map and a reference map, right? Like, so there's always something over and above you can do to stand yourself apart. Like, hey, maybe 2 days later going, hey, I put some work together and I thought of, here's some ways I can impact your company, and here's something that I did.
Well, and that should be part of the interview process should be asking those questions like, hey, what do you see for this role in the next 30, 60, 90 days? And you may not have all the answers, right there in the room, but and again, this gets back to having a notebook and a pen, take that away and be like, hey, you know what? I've given this a little bit further thought. This is how I see myself handling that first 30, 60, 90-day deliverables and go from there.
Right, based on my experience, this is where I can be I can hit the ground running. Here's why, and here's what I can do based on what you so you're not like redesigning the role. What you're doing is enhancing it. So, like, putting something together will never, like, I got the job at Hewlett Packard for putting together a 30, 60, 90 plan. No one else did.
Right.
Like, you set yourself apart by just putting some thought and putting a plan together. And it wasn't rocket science. It wasn't like some great thing I put together. But what it was just something that I
showed a little effort.
It made me extraordinary by just doing that little bit extra.
Yeah.
Sorry,
well, dude, and references are so important because people will ask for them, and I mean, for the love of God, please make sure the people that you are listing as references know that you're listing them as references, because I've been hit by a cold call every now and then by somebody that I had no idea was trying to use me for a reference. And in at least 2 cases, they were people that should not have been using me as a reference.
I just got a reference call a few days ago from somebody I didn't know. I send all unknown numbers right to voicemail, so I wasn't expecting a reference call.
Mhm.
I checked, and this was like a 2-week-old reference call. I was like, I'm not calling back now. It's too late.
Well, it's super rare these days to even get asked for. Like the last 5 years, I think maybe I've been asked twice for references. Like it hasn't been as much as a thing as I thought. Because I remember, like when I got laid off at Cisco.
Well, because you should be doing it up front. That's what we
Right.
covered earlier. But
Yeah, well, everyone told me like, hey, use me as a reference. Use me as a reference. So cool. I had 10 people I worked directly with at Cisco as a reference. So like I always bring it up, going, when I was interviewing, going, hey, I got 10 people from Cisco that I worked with directly that would vouch for me, that told me they would. That should be your reference. The reference isn't, either you ask them or they come out and say that they will be. But yeah, just like Dave said earlier, please don't put references on that are a cold call.
by the way, I love that we thought these were going to take 30 minutes and it's 5:52. I'm just saying.
Oh my, yeah, it's us. It's us. What do you think?
But I mean, and this last point is so important seriously, for the love of God, people, do not, until you have the offer letter signed and you are there and you have been there for a week.
And you passed your drug test.
Do not, well, do not think you have anything in the bag. I mean, that's just reality.
It's funny because like I haven't done anything bad in my life, but I still hold my breath when they do the background check and the drug test, and I'm like, I passed.
Never know.
Like Tommy Boy, like a D-, I passed. But no, that's a thing.
So hey, here's just a quick little recap. Hey, your job today is finding a job. Control your messaging, work with the community if you can, do as much prep as you can, follow up, and then lather, rinse, repeat. One of the things that we've got out there, if you want it, and we should probably put this in the notes, we have a nice little 3-part series that's called How Not to Suck at Interviewing for a Job. And it's a 3-part series that covers the time leading up to the interview, the day of the interview, and then what you do after the interview, which is a good follow-up and recap of all this stuff. If you want, granted, none of these are happening currently,
Right?
Because of the world we live in. But my God, we cannot wait for these to fire back up. We do 2 networking events every month. The first Tuesday is always in the Ann Arbor area, and then the third Thursday is the Metro Detroit area. Be there, get out, get to know people, and that's us.
Yeah, if you want to shoot us a note, if you got any questions, if you want to dive deeper, I know James, you asked a couple questions, but if you want to ask us, feel free. Bob at Dave at itandthed.com.
Or Randy at,
yeah, or Randy at.
I mean, with all of his really big, meaningful, heavy contributions that he had today, people might have a lot of questions for Randy.
Is Randy? Can he turn his lights on? But no, feel free to shoot us an email. We'd be more than happy to answer your questions.
He's in a dark room with a black shirt, and he just looked like a floating head the entire thing. Like Superman 2, guilty.
The tribunal. But hey, thanks PenguinCon for listening, and everybody else that might have floated in from our group page on Facebook. We'll be doing this all weekend. We got about 5 or 6 of these, basically dumping out all our content, and then feel free to give us a shout, and thanks for the time.
All right, see you guys. All right, so there